Okay, yesterday we saw machlokes between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan regarding if you give a down payment to someone, is it connected the down payment or is it connected the whole thing? We had a machlokes between Rav and Rabbi Yochanan. According to Rav said it's connected only connected the amount. Rabbi Yochanan says it's connected the whole thing. So if you have a mishapara, if we connected the whole thing or connected the part. That was the machlokes. The Gemara is going to suggest that machlokes between Rav, who said connected, that even the little bit goes connected the whole thing, is machlokes tanoim. Okay, we're going to suggest it's machlokes tanoim. We're up to mem ches on the base, about 7 lines up. Let me get tanoim. Hamal be'eschaveri ala mashkin. Someone goes ahead and he lends his friend on a mashkin. So it's kind of collected already. So we know that when it comes to shmita, there's two halachas. Mem ches on the base. The shmita is karka and the shmita is ksafim. That shmita takes off it takes you off the land. You have to stay away from the land, and also it takes off a loan. But it's provided that you guys that you can't go ahead and collect it, but it's considered collected already. If you either Moshe Shtarayis of Lebezdin or you have a mashkin in the hand, then it's not subject to the halacha of shmita, and therefore it would still be in vogue. So Malbes Chaver ala mashkin v'nichlas shmita, and now comes the shmita. Alpha pishen shava ella a plug. He eats half. Let's say the loan was for 1,000, the mashkin was worth 500. The loan was for 1,000, the mashkin was worth 500. Ain't a mishamit. It does the go ahead, but it's not mishamit. Divrei Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Going to ask, what's it not mishamit, guys? There's two possibilities, right? It's not mishamit to 500, or it's not mishamit to 1,000. Guys, listen up. You hear? Scenario: 500 or 1,000. The mashkin is worth 500. When Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said it's not mishamit, doesn't mean it's not mishamit up to 500, or it's not mishamit the whole chayv. Good. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi Omer. Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. This is the famous Rabbi. So this is the son of Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, guys. Guys, be aware, right? You know that? Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is the son of Shimon Gamliel. And Rabbi Yehuda Metzia is the grandson of Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. It's some pretty good batting order. Right? Pretty good batting order. Now, I'm Haya Mashkin Keneged Halva Asai, says Rabbi, if the Mashkin is Keneged the Halva, Aina Mishamit, the Imlav Mishamit, and not it's the Imlav Mishamit. It would be Mishamit. Okay, that's what he said. So if it's Keneged the Halva, it's not Mishamit. If it's not Keneged the Halva, it is Mishamit. Okay, so now, based upon what Rabbi Shimon ben Gamliel said, we'll understand what Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said. He's arguing, right? So now, if Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi said that it's 500, only connected 500, then Rabbi Yehuda Rebbe is arguing and saying that the whole thing is off. Even the 500 that you gave is also mishamit. And if you say that it's connected 1,000, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is saying the 500 is connected 1,000, then Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is saying is your 500 is connected 500. So again, if Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi is saying 500, Rebbe is saying nothing. If Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is saying, I said Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi. If Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is saying 1,000, Rebbe is saying 500. If Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is saying 500, then Rabbi Yehuda is saying nothing. Question is on Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi, on Rebbe, then what did the mashkin do? It didn't do anything. If the whole chayv is mishamit, what did my mash? The fact he's holding $500, what did it do? Okay, so now says the Gemara. My ain't mishamit to come Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. When Rabbi Shimon Gamliel says ain't mishamit, what's he talking about? My ain't mishamit to come Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. Rabbi Shimon Gamliel said that what? That it's not mishamit. What is he speaking about? Ilema kenegdoi. If you're going to tell me that he said that it's mishamit kenegdoi only 500, mechal Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi sava lahach palga nami mishamit. The 500 in my scenario also is mishamit in shmita. Elamashkin did not get lamalei. What did that mashkin accomplish, guys? What did the mashkin accomplish? If in other words, if Rabbi Shimon says 500. And he's arguing, meaning even though you're holding a mashkin of 500, the whole loan is off. So what did it accomplish? My elalav shmamina. What must it mean? My ain't mishamit to come from Shimon Gamliel. Shimon said it's not mishamit. You know what he meant? Ain't mishamit bekula. Even though the mashkin is only 500, it's not mishamit what? The whole 1,000. Umay mishamit to come Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi lahach palga the loinaker aleha mashkin. What is it? What is it not mishamit? The 500 he's not holding. Good. The whole 500 he is holding. And the other one is Mishamit. Ubaha pligi. So what's the machlokes? Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Sava Keneged Kulahu Koina. When you give the 500, you Keneged the whole lot, the whole chayv. Again, it's a little different, guys. You could say, this is a mat, this is a halva, that's a hakna. Okay, we shouldn't discuss it. But over here, for our sake, we're making a good sushtel, and we're saying, obviously, Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, even though the mashkin is only worth 500, that 500 is Keneged what? The whole loan. So therefore, he would hold by the mechira, the 500 is Keneged the whole mechira. And Rabbi Yehuda Nasi Savar, Kinegdahu Kaina, only Kinegdai. So Nimsa, Rav would hold like Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, and Rabbi Yochanan would hold like Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So who are Tanoim. So the Machlokes Rav, and that's how we're getting into this. The Machlokes that we had yesterday, between Rav said it's Kineged only that amount, and Rabbi Yochanan said it's Kineged the whole thing, would be in fact the Machlokes Tanoim. Rav according to Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, and Rabbi Shimon Gamliel, and Rabbi Yochanan according to Rabbi Shimon Gamliel. So that's my lie. As soon as I love it, as soon as you understand it, lie. Ma'ayena Mishamit to come Rabbi Shimon Gamliel is lahach palga denaked mashkin. In other words, only 500. Only 500. Mechlal de Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi Sava lahach palga denaked mashkin. Not be mishamit. That even the 500 that's keneged mashkin, it would be mishamit, which we had a problem. El mashkin denaked lamalei. You know what it is? Let's see, karon devarim ba'alma. In other words, it's not to go ahead and be used for payment. It's just the remembrance that it took place. In other words, the guy won't be able to tie in a what? Lahadam. I never had it. You know why you can't tie in a lahadam? You're holding on to a mashkin. But not that mashkin should symbolize we want any money. Not that mashkin should be want for any money. Good?
Is
Yeah.
Is there a star?
Again, I don't know the star or anything. Again.
But either mashkin to tell me there was a loan as a star with Aiden.
I don't know. It could be that in case the star is lost. There could be hechet timtzes of zichron devarim ba'alma. In other words, the bottom line is that, so again, according to this, you're not locked into saying it's a machlokes tanoim, right? And then achinami like him, it's mishamit the whole thing. It could be the whole thing goes off, right? It could be mishamit the whole thing. Now, Rav Kahana Yov lezuze akisna. Rav Kahana was given money for flax. He was given money for flax. L'soifi yaka kisna. What happened? The flax went up in price. So what does Rav Kahana want to do? He wants to go back on the deal. Now, but he was given money. So Asla Kamei de Rav, Amar Le, B'maydin Akita Zuze Havlahu. Whatever money they paid, if they gave you $500 for $500 at the price that time, give it to him. It's worth more now? Okay, whatever it is. They paid for a bushel, give him a bushel. The idach and the other money, the varim ninu, it's only words. In other words, there's no kinyan or anything. And in words, you don't have what? You don't even have mechusra amana. In other words, misha paru would mean what? That again, if you go back on your word, where there was a transfer of money. You know, there's money. The guy gave you money, and now he's going back on the deal. Misha para. Like Rabbi Yochanan the Rabbanan, like Rabbi Shlakish the Raisa, right? You're going to get a misha para. We said, why is there misha para like Rabbi Shlakish if there was no Mashiach? I mean, so it's why is it? So we said that nonetheless, Devarim with money pierced, you're going to get it's a misha para. Okay, so now I think the rest of the let's edit that. Okay, so now there is something else besides the misha para. It's ein ruach chachamim nachi imena. We saw that yesterday, right? That the chachamim are not happy with you. That's called mechasra amana. You're not trustworthy. You're not going to get the klal of mishapara. You're not going to get or being informed of mishapara, but you'll get the chachamim are not happy with you. That's the chayra is about mechasra amana mean. The chachamim are not happy with you by not keeping your word. So says Rav Chiddush to Rav Kahana, you don't even have a problem of ein ruach nachim over here. You don't have a problem with mechasra amana, despite the fact you're going back. Because again, on the other, they got their money's worth. Whatever they gave you, you're giving back to them. Whatever flax they gave you, you're giving them money. But even mechusra amana that you didn't keep your word, so to say, also not. Now we're going to question that, but I just want you to get it straight. So now, the itmar, the varim, if it's only words, there was no kinyan, no money, nothing. He gave you a down payment for X amount. The varim Rav Amar ein bahem mishum mechusra amana. There's no problem of mechusra amana. However, Rabbi Yochanan Amar, and this is where he paskin, yesh bahem mishum mechusra amana. You do have what? A problem of mechusra amana. You do have a problem of Mechusar Amana. You do have. But again, Rav kind of went to his Rebbe Rav, and this is the psak that he got. Now, Meisvei Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda. Meisvei Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Ma Tamalayma Meisvei Rabbi Yossi, Rabbi Yehuda Omer. Now the pasuk says, Moisneit Tzedek, Avneit Tzedek, Ephas Tzedek, V'hin Tzedek, the Yiyelecha, right? What's the lashon that you should have when it comes to business? You should be squeaky clean. So your scales, your measurements, they all should be accurate. V'hin Tzedek, Yiyelechem ani Hashem Elokechem asher atzeisischem Mitzrayim, right? I Hashem took you out of Mitzrayim. Now, Hin Tzedek, V'loi Hin B'chal Efa. Now, guys, a hin is 12 loig. Efa is 72 loig. So a hin is b'chal efa. It's yesh b'chal m'sayimana, six times. So why do you have to say it? So it's a play on words, guys. Not the word hin, but rather take out the yud and make it hein. Hin is a measurement. Hein means yes. Good. Loy melecha sheyehi hein shelcha tzedek, that your yes should be correct. V'lav shelcha tzedek. So what do you see? That by not keeping your word, you're over on being hin tzedek. In other words, you see, there is a problem. How could Rav say mechos ramona? It's not a problem. You see from the drush of this pasuk, you say yes. I told you I'm going to give you flax. Give me the flax, right? Rav said there's no problem. Mizay from this pasuk, you see from this pasuk there is a problem. If you don't keep your yes, right, it's a problem. So I'm Rabbi, no. Don't buy darshans in a different way. Hahu, you know what that yes and no means? Not that you're going ahead and if the guy paid you X amount of money and expected more, but there was no kinyan, there's no going back in the deal, and there's no problem. But halush lo yidabe echad bepeh ve'echad belev. Let's see Rashi. What do you mean echad bepeh ve'echad belev? Go up a little bit. Shlo yidabe echad bepeh b'shah shehu oimer hadibor. When you say something, at the time you say it, do not have in mind doing mishana. But if, in fact, money changes afterwards, like the case of Rav Kahana, that the price goes up, and he's having charata because of the shinei hashar, there's no problem because there's no problem with chasar amana. So when it says over here, hin tzedek, you know what you're going to darshan? You shouldn't say one thing and mean another thing. In your mind, you mean one thing. But over here, when you went ahead and said, I'm going to provide flax for you, I was going to provide flax for you, right? At this price. Now that it went up, I don't have to provide it for you at that price. And therefore, you're not mechus ramona, it's not a kash on Rav. Okay, we brought a kash on Rav. Now the way a buy is darshaning the pasuk, you don't have a kash on Rav. Right? You don't have a kasha around because again, it means it should be echad b'peh ve'echad b'leiv. That's what it means. But over here, when you said I'm going to give you at this price, but now when it goes up, Meisvei Reb Shimon Omer, Afal Pisha Amru, Talis Kaina Dina Zahav, the talis which is the can be Kaina the Dina Zahav, can be Kaina the matbeya, Vein Dina Zahav Kaina talis. But if you make Mashicha in the matbeya of the Zahav, it's not Kaina the talis. Mikomakam kachalacha avalamru misha pora mianshi dora mabel mianshi dora flaga who asli pora misha in oime bidiburai, right? And this is you get a misha para. Now this is not what we need, guys, because this is different over here. There you made a mishich on all the cash. Over here, there's not all cash. If you look at Rashi, Rashi tells us avalamru chachamim, fellas, safe b'ketani hachoyze boy ein ruach chacham noichi imena. If someone who has charata, right? Then what? Then the ruach hacham is not like chimena. That's the kasha on Rav. Okay, because over there you didn't give the full money, and nonetheless the chacham. If you go back in your word, even if it's not a mishapara, the chacham are not happy with you. Kasha on Rav. Again, we're equating ruach hacham chimena with what mechusrei amana. Says Gemara Tanoy. You're right. Rav, in order to escape this, Rav has to say it's a machlokes tanoim. In other words, I will. This Tana clearly holds that if you go back in your word, it's a mechusrei amana. I have a Tana. In fact, it's a Mishnah. It's the first Mishnah in Aslecher Sapayalim, which is we can't wait to get to Be'ez Hashem, right? What about got it? So now it's a Tanoi, machlokes Tanoi. Okay, let's go over what we just said so far. We suggested this machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan and Rabbi and Rav, whether you give a down payment, it's connected the whole thing, or it's connected parts of the thing. We suggested that that's machlokes tanoim, that Rabbi Yehuda Hanasi connected only part of it, right? That would be like Rav, and Rabbi Yochanan would be like Rosh Gamliel, his father. We then suggested, no, Ken Zayin, it's not a machlokes tanoim, that everyone would say that it's only connected kulei. Everyone would say it's connected kulei. That was the first part of the daf. The second part we're discussing now is the halacha of going back on your word where there was no kinyan, and you're not going to get a mishapara, but you're going to go back on your word, and maybe you're going to have a problem with mechusri amana. It says Rav in the case of Rav Kahana. Guys, look over here, okay? Yeah, in the case of mechusri amana, okay. In the case of much more Uncle, I taught it 20 years. I understand it. Ain't maladad, I understand it. Anyway, so he says Geshmak says that Rav says you have a kasha and Rav he let Rav Kana off the hook. A Pasakin said that you should make your hay and you should keep your word. He goes that we're going to dash in a different way. We're going to dash and you keep your word, meaning you shouldn't speak but you are keeping your word because when you gave him the money of the flax, you thought the flax was X amount, but when it goes up in price, that is not a problem. Okay, that's what we're holding. We asked the kasha now on Rav from our Mishnah. Our Mishnah with the end of the Bryce, the Bryce actually the Bryce is not a Mishnah. Where if you go back in your word, kasha on Rav, and Rav can't get out of that. So Rav is going to suggest now, well, I can't get out of that Bryce, but I have a Mishnah with a Tana who says you could change your word and not have a problem. So once I have a Tana to support me, I'm good. Once I have a Tana, who is that Tana? We're going to meet him right now. Says the Gemara. No, the Tana. Ma'aseh Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia. He told his children, save a sachal and a poilum. Go to the place where the guys wait what? 39th Street, whatever. Yeah, whatever. Go get some guys. Go get some guys. But no, it's not really good sush stuff because these are Jewish guys. Go get me some Jewish workers. Halachu pasul mezainis. He went and he said, you come to work for me and we'll give you a good meal. And when his son came to Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia, Rabbi Yochanan told him, Bini, even if you make him like a suda like Shlomo when he was in first place, you want whatever you're going to give him is not going to be enough. And Avram Avinu gave a bigger suda than Shlomo, as we'll see later on in this Masechta. Ella achla yaskilu b'malacha seva amalahem al menashe ein lechem alai ela pas kitnis b'vad. Go tell them that you can work for me, but on the condition that you're going to get bread and some legumes. Obviously, they were not Ashkenazim. It was Pesach. Anyway, Pesach daitach devarim yesh behem mishum michusri amana hechi amalem zil hadabach. Ella must be that he holds that you could. So Rav would hold like Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia. Guys, Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia, go change your mind. So I say Rav would hold like Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia. There's more shiny hasam the poilim gufayu le samcha datayu. You know what? They heard this kid that we're going to give you a good meal. They never believed it for a second. My timer made the yada the alavua samich. He's going to be samich on his father. He must be a young kid. He can't promise you anything. So whatever he told them, they said it's got to be their father accepted it. So therefore, there was no smichas das. So therefore, since they never expected anything, you won't go back on your word. They had no expectation, fellas. They had no expectation, so you're not going back on your word. I feel his skill of malacha nami. Right? 1 second. So why was Rabbi Yochanan and Metzia so makbid to get him before they began working? Mashma, once they began working, there's no going back in the word. If they weren't samich anyway, even when they began working, what? They should be able to go back on your word. Says Gemara, no. His chul malacha vaday samcha datayu. They were going to say, Meima Amma kamei davua. He had time to go home and say in front of their father what he promised us. And the father agreed to it. So therefore, if they didn't begin working, once they begin working, there is a smichas das, and once there's smichas das, then mechusra amana. So Mamela was slugging up and saying Rav does not have a tana. He goes according to guys. We here we're slugging it up. The whole mice was brought in to say that Rav goes like a Yochanan ben Metzia. Now we're slugging it up and saying no. Rabbi Yochanan ben Metzia wasn't going back on his word. There was no word to go back on. Really, you can't go back on your word. But they were in samich das. Read Gemara, Umiyam Rabbi Yochanan Hachi. Does Rabbi Yochanan say that what? That Dvarim is mechusar amana. So Rabbi Yochanan say The Devarim is just words, guys, just words. It's Mechus Amana. Amar Rabbi Bar Chana, Amar Rabbi Yochanan. Someone says to his friend, I'm giving you this present. Boy, right? He's able to have karata. Says, Pshita, why not? You give him a present, you go back. What's the big deal? What's the big deal? It's mutalaksa boy. What is, guys, what does yochalaksa boy mean? Meaning, you might think there's a kinyan, and therefore you couldn't go back. So you're telling me what? You can go back. You give a present, you didn't give it yet. The guy, why can't you go back? You didn't give it yet. It says mutalaksa boy. You know what mutalaksa boy means? The guy's, you give me a present, I feel good schmack, right? Now it's mutter to go back. You know why it's mutter to go back? Because you're not mechusar amana. Who said this? Rabbi Yochanan, Kasha. Rabbi Yochanan said that mechusar amana is not a problem. You see over here that what? It is a problem. Why? It's excuse me. He said it is a problem, and from here you see it's not a problem. Amra Papa, Rabbi Yochanan b'matana mu'etes the samcha datayu. Right? He's moida that what by matana mu'etes. That samcha datayu. That what you can go back on your word. Okay, and so now, what about if it goes up in price? So look at top price. This Rabbi Yochanan matana mu'etes. For Yochanan, have become matana mu'etes, and going up in price. The value going up in price. What? So therefore, he would be moida that what that is a problem of mechusar amana. Hachanami mistaber to say this distinction between matana mu'etes and matana meruba. The Rabbi Yochanan Yisrael shama leben Levi. Yisrael says to a Ben Levi, "Hur ma'isa yesh lecha biyadi." Now, guys, from ma'isa rishon, the Levi has to take off trumas ma'isa and give it to the kohen. Mendy, gedenkst us, right? So you're getting both ends, right? You're getting from the Yisrael, you're getting truma gedola, and from the Levi's ma'isa rishon, you're getting trumas ma'isa. So now, a guy says to a Levi, "Listen, in my house you have ma'isa rishon, and I'm giving it to you." So he can separate from that Trumas Maisa. Now, Rishoy Lasis Trumas Maisa al Makam Acher. The Levi can go ahead and say, I have my solution over here. I'm going to take off the Trumas Maisa from that's in your house. Now, how do you know it's there? Maybe you got went back in the deal. I'm giving you a present. I'm giving you to I have to give it to a Levi. I decided I'm giving it to you. Now that's a matana mu'etes, guys, because again, it's Toivus I know that you can give it to any Levi you want to give it to. It's worth a little bit money, but it's not worth a lot of money, a little bit. So now, you tell a guy, listen, I'm giving you in my house my solution. This guy now is in a different town, and he's got my solution in front of him, and he wants to eat it, and he doesn't want to take a trumas ma'isa here, he doesn't want to schlep it back, give it to a kohen. So what he's saying, the guy who gave me that my I'll take off that from that my solution that he has over there. I'll shade up. I'll take off the trumas ma'isa from here. I'll do that. Now, he could do it. If you tell me you can't go back on a deal, because you can be slime if that my solution is intact. Right? What's the reason you can go back on the deal? It must be that right? It must be that he would be moida that you can't go back on the deal. He'd be moida that you can't go back on the deal. Now, doesn't make any sense. Rav said you could go back on the deal. Rabbi Yochanan said you can't go back on the deal. And Rabbi Yochanan is moida matana mu'etes that what you can't go. It's okay to go back in the deal. Since it's small matana, you can go back in the deal. So this is a kasha l'chayra. This is a kasha. No, he's bringing it as a raya. One second, I'm a little lost over here. Hachanami mistaber. Okay, hachanami mistaber that what to say. So amai rishoy. I'm finished. If you're going to say that what he's able to have charata, amai rishoy ishtak ichtika'achol tfalim. So it's proof that a matana mu'etes, the din of a mechusar amana, the person you can't go back on it, right? You can't go back on it.
It might be nice of the Levi small.
So when we had a machlokes between Rabbi Yochanan, between Rabbi Yochanan and Rav, right? Rav says there's not a problem going back. Rabbi Yochanan says there is a problem going back. So we asked the kasha on Rabbi Yochanan. We asked the kasha. Rabbi Yochanan, we asked the kasha from Yehuda Masna, right? We said that no, we want to make a raya to Rav, and then we said that if you give a matana to your friend, it's mutter to change your mind, meaning you have no problem. So Moed Rabbi Yochanan that you could change your mind, meaning it's not a problem, right? Moed Rabbi Yochanan you could change your mind and it's not a problem because matana muetas, right? Rabbi Yochanan says you can't change your mind. Matana muetas is maybe you could change your mind. Now, what are we doing right now? What are we doing right now? We're bringing in this case as what? Hachnaim Mistaber, the Rabbi Yochanan says by matana muetas, you could go ahead and change your mind. No. In other words, if you change your mind, you have a problem with chusra amana. I'm missing something. I lost cheshbon over here. I lost cheshbon. Where's my cheshbon? I lost the cheshbon. My dvorim. Rav says, "Ein bam chusra amana." Rabbi Yochanan, "Yesh bam mishum chusra amana." Okay, you have a chusra amana. So in other words, if Yochanan says that what that a matana, a regular matana, you have a problem. Matana mu'es, you don't have a problem. Some chadaita what the guy's going to keep it. Okay, so therefore this would be a good raya. Says the Gemara. So iyan b'shleim b'lei matzil mahadabei mishum mishoy. El iyan matzil mahadabei amai mishoy. Ishtachad the ka'achot tfalim. El it's proof that on a matana mu'etes there's a din of chusra amana, right? That the person won't have charata. But didn't Rabbi Yochanan say this in the first place? You hear my problem? It's not flowing. It's not flowing. A second, I'm going to put you on hold. Okay, Rabbi Yochanan said that if you change your mind, you have a problem with chusra amana. You have a chusra amana. We're asking a kasha from a matana muetes that what it's mutter to change your mind. That right? That it says mutter lachsaboy, right? So, but mutter lachsaboy, and there's no problem of what of chusra amana. So, kasha Rabbi Yochanan, Amra Papa. No, Rabbi Yochanan says. When does Rabbi Yochanan say that you don't? It's chusra amana was his matana muetes. The guy says, "I'm going to give you $10,000." You don't believe him. The guy says he's going to give you a box of Cracker Jacks. You believe him. So in Melech, you're going to not get your box of Cracker Jacks. You're going to feel bad. Good. You're going to feel bad. So very geschmack. So now we're going to bring a raya. So now, Amra Papa, let's start from again. Umoide Rabbi Yochanan matana muetis the samcha datayu that since he's slemich das, you have a problem what of chusra amana, and therefore Rabbi Yochanan held in the case of the kisna where it went up in price, also it's considered, and the guy was slemich das. Hachanami mistabra the Amra Bavau Amra Rabbi Yochanan Yisrael Shalom ben Levi Kur Ma'isa Yesh Lecha B'Yadi Ben Levi Rishoy Lasois. He can make it what Trumas Ma'isa Makam Acher. Iyan B'Shleim Eloi Matzi Lahada Beikin Karata. Why can't you have Karata, guys? Because it's Matana Muetes B'Shemachi Rishoy. Aliyam Matzi Lahada Bei. If you're going to say it's not a problem with Chusra money, he could change his mind. My Rishoy Ishtakik the Kochot Tfalim. He's going to go ahead. He's going to think he took off Ma'isa Trumas Ma'isa. He didn't take off Trumas Ma'isa. You're going to have a problem. So the fact that what since it's matana muetes and mela matana muetes, you do have a problem with mechusra amana. Since you have mechusra amana, you can be sure that trumas ma'is is going to be there. Okay, Baruch Hashem, we got it. Good. Hachamay says, "You have no raya." Now let me understand that. Hachamay you have no raya. Ki going should not lumimenu b'chaziv gidi etzloi. It's speaking where what you know why you can be sure it's there. Not because he wouldn't change his mind. He would change his mind. But what happened is the guy took it and he gave it to him again in order to watch it. If it's speaking where he gave it to him and he's going to watch it, Ema Seifa, Nasnu ben Levi, Acher. If you give it to another Levi, Ein lo yalav el tarumis. In other words, I told you I'm giving it to Levi A, and I told you I'm giving it to Bacon. I give it to Moshe Shlomo Zalman ben Moshe Chaim, whatever. I give. So I give it to the other Levi. Then Ari can have on me is tarumis. Now 1 second. He's salkedaita not let me man because that's like if I took it and I gave it back, he gave it back to me. Amayin leil tarumis. You can have grace of tarumis, right? I gave it to him. I took it back. That's what we called in the old language an Indian giver. It says like even the mashkel and mina is like abe. Since you were Moshechid, Ari was Moshech the Trumas Maisa, it's his. So that haben groisa tarumis. Elalav shmamina b'delay notlu. Speaking where you didn't take it away, and therefore what? If you didn't take it away, it's a matana muetes. It's a matana muetes. My Rabbi Yochanan shmamina that by matana mueset, that's where he said his din. But a matana merube nachinami is moeded tarav ein bo mishum chusra mana. In other words, keeping your word has more to do in letting the other person down. It's very interesting. In other words, you would think keeping your word is there's no difference between large or small. Your word is your word, something right? You see over here, it depends upon because our money depends upon how the other person is going to feel. I'm going to give you $10,000, and the guy changed your mind. He doesn't believe you're getting $10,000 in the first place, so that's nothing. You get a box of Cracker Jacks already. So, candy coated popcorn, peanuts, and a prize, right? Just to go strip your hand to get the prize out.
Metal price.
What?
The metal ones.
Metal ones.
Yeah.
Rabbi, I'm not that. I had it when I was a kid.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Who Gavra? Yankel Tussi is still a kid. Who Gavra?
Who may have wrote the jokes on this?
Who Gavra? The Zuka joke. Who Gavra? The Yov Zuze Ashum Shemi. There was this person who bought sesame. L'soif, Iker, Shum Shemi. It went up in price. And Hadra Bahu. And they had what? They changed the price on him. In other words, he had gone ahead and he bought Shum Shemi. Now it went up in price. The sesame merchants, it went up in price, and he's withholding it from them. They want avcharata, but amrulei, and they told him less than Shum Shemi. You don't have no Shum Shemi at all. Shakal zuzcha, take your money, Like shakal zuzah, he didn't take his money, and ignov, and the money was stolen from the Shum Shemi merchants. In other words, the money that he had paid for the initial Shum Shemin at the lower price, which was the hands in the merchants, because they told him to take it back, was now stolen. Now the question is, are they chayav? Asla kamei de Rava, they came in front of Rava, and Amalei, and he said to them, he said to this individual, Kivin the amilacha shakal zuscha, v'loy shaklis, loy mi boy shemechsacha v'loy havi, they're nothing. They told you to take your money. Your failure to take your money, there's no one watching this, and therefore what? They're pata. You're do me. Amulei Rabbanon, L'Rava, who tasking that they're off the hook, the Moichrik Shumshim are off the hook. But boy L'Kibuli Aleh Mishapara, they went back on the deal. He gave money. They went back on the deal. So I'm Hachanami and Hachanami. I didn't say this. You asked me the Choshen Mishpat question. You asked me, what's the din in Hilchos Shaimim? I told you. Mishapara? David Kigan, Mishapara. Amra Papi, Amali Ravina, Lididi Amali Ahum Rabbanon. I was told the story over by this Rabbanon, Rav Tfus Shmei, and his name was Rav Tfus. The Amile Rav, Shmuel Bar Zutra Shmei, and Imila, others say it was Rav Shmuel Bar Zutra. His name wasn't Rav Tfus, but his name was Shmuel Bar Zutra. The Haviyavle Kol Chalolo da Alma. If they would have given me all the hidden treasures in the world, Lehavi Kamishani Bidibure. And Bididi Havi Uvda. This is. I was there. I know the Maisa. This is the Maisa happened to me. This Maisa that was reported to Rava was not Pashit. In other words, there's a different side to the story. Ahuyuma Panya de Mali Shabbat Avi. It was afternoon era Shabbos. Avi Asivna. We were sitting. Vasu Gavra above. He knocked on the door. Amali said, "Istacha Shumshe Lizvune. Do you have sesames to go ahead and sell? Do you have sesame to go ahead and sell?" So Amrulay, we told him, "Loy." So Amruli lahavi hanach zuze pipikadin. I guess it was late, and he left the money by him. He left the money by them. The it's getting late, and I don't want to carry money on Shabbos. So Amrulay, they said to this individual, I said to this individual, Habesa kamach, right? The house is in front of you. Now, what wasn't in Makabel, guys? He wasn't Makabel Shmira. He said the house is in front of you. So Asvinu Bebese, now you know what happened. He put it in the house, the ignite, and it was stolen. Asal Kamei de Rava came in front of Rava. Amalei Kol Habesa Kamach Loimi, the whole house in front of you, that statement, Loimi Boy Shem Esachad Lehavi, Elafila Shemachino Nami Lehavi. So Amrilei, 1 second. How can you tell that was the Maisa? Now, guys, according to the first side, guys, there was a sale. And you went ahead and you bought shumshmin at a lower price. A guy goes back on the deal. He's going back on the deal. It's subject to what? Mishapara, midar hamabel, midar haflaga, v'chahena. Now you're telling me there was no sale whatsoever, correct? If there's no sale whatsoever, it's only a shaila in hilchas shaimrim. And you're saying it's not a shaimer. But Rabbi said, you can't be shapara. So how can you tell me that's the story? So what's the answer? Guess what? That wasn't the case. So this whole case with the shumshmin, there was a different side. There was never a sale. It was only a shaila of what guy wanted to buy, left the money in the house. It was a din hilchas shaimim. It's totally different hilchas shaimim. Not a din whatsoever what in mechira. There was no mechira whatsoever. No mishapara whatsoever. Zero. Once there's no din of mechira, there's no din of mishapara.
I mean that in Shulman. He told him to leave it in the house.
He said the house is in front of you. That's all he said. He didn't say I'm a kabel shmira. He didn't say I'm a kabel shmira. He said the house is in front of you. Meaning you want to leave it? Good. But guess what? You got it right. That's it. That's all he said. You want to leave it? The house is in front of you. But that's not a kabel shmira. Now, Reb Shimon Oimer kol shekesef biyada yada lo yoina. He said anyone who has the kesef in his hand, he has the upper hand. Tanya, Reb Shimon. Masai, when is this din that I say that only the moicha can have charata? Bisman kesef va'peris biyad moicher. When the kesef and the peris are in the hands of the moicher. Perish, he paid for it, but he didn't do mashicha yet. He paid for the fruit, but he didn't do mashicha yet. So the moicher has everything. Since Leikeach paid for it, he can't have charata. Since the moicher has everything, he could have charata. Aval kesef biyad moicher, bu peris biyad Leikeach. But if the Paris is if the Kesef is in the hand of the Meicher and the Paris is in the hand of the Leikeach, then you can't have Charata. Mifnei, why? Shekasboi biyadoi. Because his money is in his hands. Mashma, whose money is in his hands? The loiva's money is in the loiva's hands. Biyadoi? Biyad Meichu. What do you mean the money's in the loiva's hands? The money's in the Meicher's hands. In other words, if the deal is done, the Meicher got the money, but you're telling me that the Meicher didn't get the money. What are you talking about? Elam if they said demay kasboy biyadei. Oh, you know what? The demay of the kasboy, which is what the Paris is in his hands. So therefore, you can't have charata. Now, it seems a double push it, right? The whole thing is done. It's a done deal. The Meicher got his money. You got your Paris. It's a pshita. No, the Havamina guys, there was the Mashiach on the Paris. So that would be pashit. Once the deal is done, the kinyan's done. The money was given, and the Paris were nimshach, so the deal is done. So Amarava Hachamay Askinon Kigoin Shahaisu Aliyah Shaloikeach Muscheres Biad Meicher. It's a duplex, guys. It's a duplex. Who's living on the ground floor? The guy who bought the Paris. Who's living upstairs? The Meicher. The Meicher has the Paris in the Leikeach's Rishus, meaning it's really in the Rishus. Halachically, it's in the Rishus of the Meicher because he rented it out. Physically, in whose house is it? The Leikeach. The Leikeach. Now, he didn't do Mashiach yet. What kinyan could there be? Kinyan Chatzar? Can't be. Why? It's rented. So therefore, it should be that what? That you should be able to not go back, be able to go back in the deal.
You pay rent for something that's not considered your rishus?
Right? It is your rishus. That's why it's not a chutzah. It's physically my house, but I rented my chutzah to you. So guess what, guys? If Reb Shimon holds like Reb Yochanan? What's the din? Mois. 1 second. Mois is kaina, correct? Midaraisa. But what are you worried about? That the Moich is going to say, it's burning down. Let it burn. In this case, the Leikeach's not going to let it burn. It's his house. So therefore, the Mois is Takakaina. And that's the Chiddush. Even though he didn't go ahead and make a Mashiach on the Paris, the Balt Reb Yochanan holds like Reb Shimon. That Mois is Kaina. So therefore, that's a huge Chiddush. In this scenario, Mois will be Kaina, and you don't require a Mashiach. You don't require a Mashiach. That's the case. Let's see it inside. Gezeru, they're going to say that what? that it burnt down in the attic. So therefore, that's when it's in Rishus of the Meicher. Hacha b'Rishus of the Kechninu. Good, halachically, it's the Rishus of the Meicher because he rented it. But physically, who is it? Rishus of the Kech. Enough with the Deleka b'Oinis. If a Deleka falls b'Oinis and there's no mazik, and the Ihu Torah Chamaisela, the Kech is going to go ahead and save it. So what did we do, guy? We kept it on what? It's the Raisa Dikadin. We kept it what on it's the Raisa Dikadin. So and that is a huge chiddush. And that is a huge chiddush, right? That's a huge chiddush. Hu Gavra, the Yov Zuze Achamra, a guy paid, he paid for what? For wine. The slave at the end. Shama, the person who bought the wine, heard the Kaboy Leminsve, the Bei Parzik Lerufila. The people who are Mishnah Melech, they were viceroys to the Melech. His name was Parzik, and he wanted to take the wine. So Amalei Lekech told the Meicher, Havli Zuzi, give me my money back. Leibin and Chamra, I don't need it because I'm going to lose it anyway. So the question is that why does it get Mishapara? Also, the Kamed Rav Chisda, he came in front of Rav Chisda. Amalei Rav Chisda said to the Keach, he's able to have Charata. Why? Kederesh Tekinim Meshicha b'Meichrin, just like they Mataka, that Moisa not Koina only if right in Meshicha until then the Meicher is able to have Charata. Kach Tekinim, we had this earlier. The Rav Chisda sin Kach Tiknu Meshicha Belakuchais. That until he takes the Paris, he's able to have Charata. So he's able to have Charata in this case. Okay, I thought I wanted to start the next Mishnah. The next Mishnah is very difficult, guys. Tomorrow we're starting the Sugya Oivayna. It's one of the hardest Sugyas in Shas. It's called Tagre de Lud. I'll send out a sheet just to give you an idea of what tomorrow's daf is, guys. This is tomorrow's daf. This is 30 years in the making. I redid it. I think twice. I did this twice. The last time 15 years ago or 9 years ago? 7.5 years ago. Okay. This is the first one. I'll send it out. Yeah, this is it.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good schmack.
I'm conscious.
Akash Sameach, I hope. Okay.